You spend your life looking over your shoulder, training your eyes to catch the anomalies in the crowd, the shadow that lingers too long. In Havana, the ghosts of the Cold War never really left. They just learned to wear different suits. We were untouchable inside the wire. Or so they told us. It happened on a Tuesday. No breach. No alarms. No broken glass. It hit like a physical wall of sound. You can't fight what you can't see. You can't shoot a frequency. It felt like my brain was being pulled apart at a cellular level. And then, just like that, it was gone. But I wasn't the same. Morning came. The world looked the same. But my balance was gone. My memory was full of holes. I couldn't even perform basic motor functions. I was a broken asset. Protocol dictates you report everything. But how do you report an invisible bullet? The agency docs ran every test. Blood, toxins, psychological evils. They were looking for a known cause. But my scans came back perfectly clean. Psychosomatic, they said. Stress. Mass hysteria. They didn't believe me. And out there, whoever fired that shot knew exactly what they were doing. They cleared me for desk duty, kept me away from the field, like a rusted gear they didn't want to throw away just yet. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. A constant reminder of the phantom bullet. I needed to know if I was going crazy, or if I was just the first. The building felt different now. The silence felt engineered. Diplomats, bureaucrats. They were whispering about Guangzhou, about Vienna. I wasn't a medical anomaly. I was part of a pattern. Once you know what to look for, the invisible becomes impossible to ignore. Vienna. Guangzhou. Officers complaining of vertigo, nausea, brain damage, always in their homes or hotel rooms. We were being hunted, and our own government was burying the bodies.
When Agent Miller stopped reporting in, I didn't wait for protocol.
The room was torn apart. But there was no struggle. He was in the exact same position I was. A casualty of the invisible war. They didn't just break his mind. They fried every piece of tech in the room. We weren't just targets. We were lab rats. If the agency doctors were told to look the other way, I had to find one who didn't care about orders. He was military neuro. Off the books. He had the real scans. It wasn't stress. It was traumatic brain injury. Without a single scratch on the skull, someone was microwaving us. To understand a new weapon, you have to dig up old secrets. The kind buried deep enough to be forgotten. Moscow, 1965. The Soviets bombarded the US Embassy with microwaves. They called it the Moscow signal. 50 years later, someone perfected the technology, shrunk it down, made it portable. It's called the Frey Effect. Microwave radiation hitting the temporal lobe, bypassing the ears entirely. Your brain interprets the energy as sound. But what it's really doing is boiling the water inside your cells. Point a focused beam at a target through a hotel wall. No entry. No forensics. The perfect assassination tool. Because nobody believes the victim. Once you know how the trap works, you start feeling it everywhere. It found me again. I couldn't stand. I couldn't think. They were turning the dial up, letting me know they were still watching. Intelligence work is a mirror maze. You rarely see the person holding the gun. Unit 29155. Russian military intelligence. The elite sabotage squad. They weren't hiding anymore. This was a message. I took the patterns to the director, the geography, the unit movements, the physics. If they admitted a foreign adversary was striking officers inside sovereign embassies, it would mean war. So they did what empires always do. They classified the truth and abandoned the wounded. If the agency wouldn't protect its own, I was going to take the fight to the architects. You don't need a medical degree to diagnose a bullet hole. Unit 29155 was in Geneva. I knew their target. This time, I'd be there before they pulled the trigger. Room 412. An American defense attaché, sleeping right next door to the wolves. There it was, the ghost machine. I had him dead to rights. But they always strike first. It felt like a spike driven straight through my optic nerve. He didn't run. He didn't panic. He just packed up his briefcase and walked away, leaving me to drown in my own head. I had found the invisible weapon, and it had found me. It takes hours for the motor functions to return. Hours where you just wait in the dark, wondering if the damage is permanent this time. He was perfectly disciplined. But nobody is flawless under pressure. I didn't stop him, but I finally had the one thing they couldn't redact. Hard, physical proof. I walked out of that hotel a ghost. Another casualty of a war that officially didn't exist. But now, I was a ghost, holding the smoking gun. I brought it back to Langley. Not a theory, not a symptom. It's a piece of the weapon itself, Russian military hardware, recovered meters away from a targeted American diplomat. For a moment, I thought I had won. I thought the truth actually mattered. They didn't call the press. They didn't brief the president. They called evidence retrieval. If you acknowledge a weapon that can strike any official, anywhere in the world, through solid walls, admit you cannot protect your own people. And empires cannot afford to look weak, medically retired. That was the official terminology. They framed it as a breakdown, a tragic case of psychological stress. 20 years of service, erased with a single stroke of a pen to protect a geopolitical narrative. They made sure I understood the terms of my retirement. Talk to the press and I lose my pension. Keep talking and I lose more than that. You learn to live as a prisoner in your own country. The government moved on, but my brain didn't. Migraines that last for days. Vertigo that drops you to your knees without warning. The invisible weapon doesn't just kill you, it rewrites you and leaves you trapped inside your own head. They thought burying me would bury the problem, but the physics of a microwave beam don't care about non-disclosure agreements. Bogota. Hanoi. Paris. Geneva. Vienna. The map was bleeding. And still, the architects of our defense stood at their podiums and told the world it was all in our heads. I tried to reach the doctor, the only man inside the wire who actually looked at the scans. Number disconnected. Reassigned to a desk in a basement somewhere. Or worse. The machine protects the machine. The rest of us are just acceptable losses. The ultimate triumph of a covert weapon isn't the damage it causes. It's the impunity it grants the user. They didn't stop in Havana. They didn't stop in Europe. They brought the invisible war directly to our doorstep. Because they knew no one would dare ring the alarm. You can lock away the hardware. You can burn the medical scans. You can revoke the clearances. But a story, once it's out in the world, that a story is a frequency they can't jam. This is a record for the ghosts, for the ones they abandoned. My name is... I am a casualty of the Havana Syndrome. Look around you. The walls won't save you. The government won't hear you. And you never see it coming.